Reading teacher and everyone, we are from group 5. We will be presenting about the story Village by the Sea from chapter 12 to chapter 13. And we will walk you through 3 contents, which are chapter summaries, analyzes the main themes, and reflection of the both story and real life situations. I'm Kim Heng and will be the narrator of the chapter summaries. Before I start, here are the main characters that will appear in the story, including Leela, Harry, Bella, Camels, fathers and mothers, and Mr. Sajid Ali. It all starts with Harry and Jagu at the bus stations. Namaste, Harry. Here's your bus tickets, and please be careful with the money. Act normally, beware of the pickpocket, and don't let anyone notice you have so much money. Goodbye, Mr. Jagu. I will be careful with the money, and once I reach Falls, I will send you the postcard. Along the way, Harry begins to feel nostalgic during his journey back to Falls. He really missed all the time he spent in Falls with his family. When the bus set him down at the highway, Harry noticed that everything at Falls seems to remain the same, and he was glad because he really wanted to renovate the Falls village. Then he continued walking to his homes. Not for long, Harry arrived at his family old hut and called out his sister's names. Leela, Bella, Camels, I'm home. Leela was very surprised to see her brother back home, so she cries.
Oh, Harry, you are back. I knew you would come.
How did you know?
It is Diwali tomorrow, and of course you would come home, and here have some sweet that we made for you.
Then Harry went to take a shower. After that, he talked with Leela about how was the family when he had gone to Bombay. Soon after, his two sisters Bella and Camels came home. They really missed each other. With a lot of excitement in the hut, they all hugged each other tightly. Harry brought out the presents after that. Here's for you, Leela, Bella, and Camels.
Where did you get so much money from? How could you afford to buy this gift?
I spent my time working hard in the watch shop in Bombay and saved money so that I could buy something refreshing for everyone. Then Harry spent his time explaining to the sister how his life was in Bombay and also asked the girls about their parents' situations. For a while, they all catch up with each other's stories. Harry was so delighted to hear that his parents are getting better, and so were the girls to hear that their brother was working hard for their families. They are all sitting in silence after learning their life have changed so much.
Let's go out to the beach and get some refreshing air. We have been talking a lot since you came home. Come on, let's go buy fish and prepare for tonight's dinner.
Harry missed his past life so bad, so he spent time playing around at the beach with his sister. They all are really happy. Then later, they talk about how the Bijou boat went to rescue the fishing boats that were hit by the storms. Harry was amazed to hear that the Bijou boat could be used for that. Soon after, the fleet came to the beach and fisherwomen were screaming out loud for fish sales.
Haha, they make more noise than the seagulls.
Let's buy some of them. I have money.
Oh, you have come very rich from the city, have you?
Ha, rich for a few days at least. Come on, Leela, choose the fish or crab. Leela was not used to being rich, so she only bought some jola and some shrimps. Once they are all back home, Harry told his sister that he will go to get his mother because tomorrow is Diwali. Soon after, they enjoyed the dinner and continued talking about their life. On Diwali morning, Harry left his sister to do the house preparations. As requested by Leela, Harry will buy the white sugar horses and elephants when he reaches Alibai. Then Harry went off to catch a bus to Alibai to get his mother for Diwali celebrations. Along the way to the bus stop, Harry was so energetic and cheerful as he could meet his mother soon. He was wondering what could he do with the money he had. Harry was thinking of building a poultry farm. Soon after, he met Ramu, his old friend. Harry jumped on the back of Ramu bikes because they had to the same destinations, and the two continued their ways to Ali Bike and spent time talking about their life just like the old days. Once the two arrived at Ali Bike, they parted their ways. As promised, Harry went to buy some sugar toys for his sisters, and then he went to see his mother at the hospital. Harry was looking for someone who wear the medical uniforms so that he could ask them about his mothers. On the contrary, he met his father who was standing outside the hospital yard. Then they talked for a while and father told Harry to see the doctor to get his mother outside of the hospital. Harry went to see the doctor as was told by the fathers. He talked with the doctor about his mother's well-being. With a long conversation, Harry showed his determination to take care of his mother. Hence, the doctor managed to let Harry see his mother and discharge her from the hospital. As Harry entered the room, he couldn't recognize his mother. Harry asked the nurse for the clarification of discharging his mother from the hospital. So, did the nurse agree with that? Then Harry took his parents back home. When they arrive at home, everything has been decorated and prepared for Diwali. The children are very surprised to see their parents are healthy and strong, and went to hug their parents. At that moment, mother was very happy, while father almost cried because of his remorseful actions. In the evening, Harry helped his sister to arrange the little clay lamps. He brought out some fireworks and shoot them into the skies with his family. Harry's family enjoyed their time with many activities until the sky getting darker and darker. Then they all go back to the hut. The next morning it was Hindu New Year's Day. Mothers and Leela were very busy cleaning the house while Harry's got nothing to do, so he went out to visit the Sahib up at the house. Harry went up to the house and found out the old man sitting near the marshes. Sayyid Ali invited him and explained him that he has been researching the nest building habit of Biyar birds. Harry suddenly recognized the voice and tells Sayyid Ali he heard him in Bombay. The two continued talking for a while about life and goals. After hearing such a determination goal from Harry, the old man was shocked in tears and felt proud of Harry. They soon bid each other goodbyes and Harry went back home. Harry brings his sister to the beach as promised. They all see that Biju won the bullock race. Soon after, they saw three beautifully dressed women along the beach and one of them was their mothers, who looked very healthy and happy. So now it is the end of my chapter summaries. I would like to hand the stage to my member. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim Heng, for your beautiful summary with your creative scene and character of our chapter 12 and 13 of the story developed by the sea. Okay, good evening, lecturer. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiarat, and I have my teammates, Sister Munira. In this part, we both will present you about the analysis of the main message of the chapter, mainly focusing on the psychoanalysis criticism theory. In these two chapters, we came up with the three main themes or the ideas to be analyzed. First one is family, second one is opportunity and responsibility, and the third one is kindness. Okay, I will be responsible for family and opportunity and responsibility. And the last one, kindness, Sister Manirot will be responsible. Okay, without further delay, let's get started. When we talk about psychoanalysis criticism theory, we will be thinking of ID, ego, and superego. What do they mean? So ID is the instinctual parts of the human mind that respond immediately to what they really want and desire, while ego is the decision-making part of the human mind by seeking the pleasure with reasonable and logical action. Superego, on the other hand, is the good sign in human mind, or in our values, morality, and ethics. We can say that it incorporates the values and morals from the society as well as from the parents. So let's bring this series to imply in the main theme that I mentioned earlier. First is family. Harry worked hard for his family in Mumbai, but he would prefer to be more at his hometown in Tul village and to get in touch with the natural environment rather than staying in the polluted city, Mumbai. So what can we identify the ID, eco, and super eco in this theme? Well, for IDs, Harry would stay in Mumbai, but for his further development, with no pressure or care of his family at all. He will be able to find his new family at Mumbai in the future. However, in reality, if we talk about ego, Harry decided to ask for Mr. Panvalas and Jaku to return his hometown and meet his family at Tul village. And for super ego, we identified that Harry came home because he missed his family and he wanted to be a good son. And he also wanted to help his family. Mr. Tracy McGrady said that my heart is definitely here and there is no place like home. So this means that no place like our home. Our home is more peacefully, more happiness. Okay. Looking at the other sides about human behavior, we can see Harry's desire that he wanted Thule village to be renovated and his families to live peacefully because he brought some skill and money to develop in his village. For instance, he's wanted to open watch repairing shop, poultry farm, and rebuild his hut to be a cherished one. For his fear, when Harry returned home, he was told that his mother was at the hospital, so he was then very fear of hearing the sad news that his mother illness. Then Harry went to hospital to see his mother, to see her. Yes. Okay, so now let's move to the second theme, which is about opportunity and the responsibilities. Okay, remembering that after Harry met with the gentleman, Mr. Sayyid Ali, who had love and care for the birds for his life, Harry learned and knew a lot of meaning from the birds, namely the word of freedom and responsibility that could make Harry infer the way he should be done for aiding his family. For this scenario, we can identify in ID that Harry would live all by himself in Mumbai and create his own business over there after he learned from Mr. Sayyid Ali. But related to ego, we can identify that in reality, Harry was a responsible son in his family. He wanted to help his family to have a proper living condition, especially his mother, who was sick for a long time ago with no money for buying medicine and going to hospital. Thus, he needed all his member of family to survive and have a prosperous life like other villagers in Thol village. Okay, related to super ego, we can see that the main reason why Harry decided to come home because he wanted to be a watch repairman and build a poultry farm for selling chickens to the rich people and workers who would come to work and develop in Thul village. Harry believed that rich people could channel their funds to his business so that he could use those monies to fulfill his family needs and help develop in Tool Village in the future. If we look at the right size about the human behavior, we can add and identify Harry's desire and fairness again. That desire, he wanted to be a rich man and to live in Thule village with his family comfortably. As he tried hard to work and save money as much as he could, he tried to learn how to repair watch and planned to self-employ in this village. In contrast, related to his fear, Harry was worried that all his plans would be fallen if the government stopped developing or cancelled the plan of developing into village. However, he had a backup plan of the poultry farm and setting up a watch repair shop in case the factory won't be able to build. So now on my part come to an end. Let's move to the next presenter, Nirod. Nirod, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mungrat, for very specific explanations. And good evening, everyone. I am Nirod. After hearing the two main themes which were presented by Mungrat, right now I will walk you through to the third and also the last theme in our lessons of chapter 12 and 13, which is kindness. In these two chapters, we can clearly see that the third main theme is kindness. There are two important people that have shown kindness in the story. The first person is Jagu. Jagu is a very kind character who has always been helping Harry since he met in Bombay. Jagu in this chapter guided Harry to the bus stations and gave advice on keeping the money and safe travel. On the other hand, Mr. Popular in these two chapters, he also snuck some money into Harry's pocket just in case Harry could use some money for something in emergency along his journey back home. Do you still remember what my teammate said at the moment about psychoanalytic criticism theory? If you still remember it, it is great. But if you don't, I will recap it for you. ID is the instinctual part of the human minds that respond immediately to what they really want, while ego is the decision-making part of the human minds and also seek pleasure by using the reasons and logics to do. However, superego is the good sign in human mind, which covers the values and morals from one parents and society. So without further ado, let's get started with the first main point, which is ID. For ID here, we can imply on the part which they do their business in order to have income for their well-being, and all they care are about profits and benefits. The second one is about ego. Jagu and Mr. Pawala have Harry when he is in Bombay after the Desewa security guard sent him to Jagu for a place to sleep and meal. Then Harry knew Mr. Pawala, who is a watchman shopper in his workplace. These two people helped him a lot both financially and mentally. Mr. Pawala taught Harry how to repair watches and advised him on some business concepts. Moreover, Mr. Pawala also gave some money to Harry when he returned to his hometown. The last one is superego. Jagu and Mr. Pawala are small entrepreneurs who run a restaurant and watch shop in Mumbai. They create business so that they can earn money and also bring job opportunities to others. They also sell products and services to satisfy people in Mumbai in return for cash profit. They also have Harry because they want him to have a good life in Seoul. For example, Harry knew how to open his business in his hometown. In regard to psychoanalytic criticism theory, it can also apply to human behavior. If we take a critical look at psychoanalytic criticism on human behavior, we can clearly see that Jagu's desire is to sell food to his low-standard customers and help homeless and jobless people, while Mr. Pawala wants to earn money through selling watch products and to customers and share his watch repairing skill to Harry. Moving on to the second one is about action taken. Jago ran a restaurant and had orphans and jobless people to stay and work with him. However, Mr. Pavala had trained Harry to repair watches and give some money when he returned to his hometown. The third is about fears. When it was time to leave from Mumbai to Seoul, Harry got a lot of money from his work. First, he was informed by Jagu to be careful with the pickpocket because Harry might lose his money if he did not be cautious. The last one is about need. Need here we can imply to all of them work hard to get money in order to have sexual finance and to survive in the society. Talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or we can call it in short as Maslow's theory, we can also apply all the needs from Maslow to the study text of The Village by the Sea. To begin, the first pair or the basic need, which consists of physiological and safety needs, Harry could not achieve those needs before going to Mumbai. When he was in Seoul, he could hardly find anything to eat for himself as well as his family. Moreover, he could barely get proper security in his family, which was shown in the example of the story that Pinto was dead due to not getting any safety in his family. However, after returning to Seoul from Mumbai, he could achieve all those needs more easily and properly. Moving on to the second pair. Although they had intimate relationship with his family and friends, those did not have anything for his better conditions or prestige, which meant that he had already achieved the third step, belongingness or loveness, even before after he went to Seoul. However, the esteemed need was achieved after he returned from Mumbai, that he felt the feeling of accomplishment when he had the ability to repair watch as well as when he had more money in his pocket. So what I mainly discuss here is about the top need, which is about the self-fulfillment needs. To illustrate, after Harry achieved all his needs, when he returned back to Seoul, he wanted to show his potential as well as his creative visions. It is shown that Harry did not want to bring his family temporary needs, but permanent one, which is seen by the plan he told his sister about setting up a watch repair shop and buying chicken to set up a poultry farm in their field, which would be the first poultry farm in Seoul if they succeeded. It clearly showed that when Harry came back from Mumbai, he wanted to apply his full potential and ability to fulfill his self-actualizations, to bring more incomes and privilege to himself and his family as well as to Seoul. So right now my part has come to an end. Moving on to the next part, which is presented by Bong Long. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Nidot, for your wonderful presentations. And right here, we are going to task number 3, which is about the analysis of the connections between the study text and real life. So in this part, we ask come up with the 3 main points, as you can see on the screen, and will be presented by the 2 presenters, which is me, Meilong, and Yusong. So without further ado, let's move to our first analysis together. So tradition has always been significant not only in the study text but also in real life. In the story, we have Diwali, which is one of the celebrated tradition in India. Thus, the event is a whole day for everyone to discover their house, to gather with their relatives and families. In the story, Harry decided to return home for celebrating Diwali with his family, and eventually Leela also expects for his return. So we can clearly indicate that the event is absolutely a novel that each people of Indians need to celebrate. Hence, it's not distinctive from realities in our society. Cambodia, we don't have Diwali, but we have Khmer New Year. If we compare to Diwali, it is very similar to each other because these events allow people to get back to their hometowns, to reunite, celebrate together. In fact, even people who live or study abroad would also celebrate these events, even if they are not in Cambodia. So instead that our tradition is one of the most important elements that each Cambodians have never forget. So right here we are going to the second analysis, which is about the lie is about adjustment and learning new things. In the story, the bird watcher Sajid Ali was having a conversation with the Harry. At the moment, the man let the Harry has a check on his watch after knowing that he would know to set up a watch mending shop when he has resources. The man come up with a word that he really want to say to the Harry, and it was adopted. He also gives examples that even animals like the sparrow and pigeons were striving to survive by feeding themselves with the leftover food and the rabbits in the habitats. And so did people in Suez village, including Hardy, the word adapt is always paired with the word adjust. To adapt to the environment which he desires established to watch mending shop, he needs to adjust himself to learn about how to fit watch. At the moment, he remembers one expression that Mr. Pavalas always told him when he worked in Bombay that he must go on and on learning whenever he could not stop. In other words, even though Mr. Sajid Ali stopped learning because of his illness, he could learn to adapt with the new environments of nature. Likewise, in this situation, Harry could always learn new things that he has never known before, which is about caring for birds. It reflects to real-life situations that in every society, with peace and time, development is the existence of every aspect of society. Over time, people have to adapt to it, to live their lives and to interact with other people in their communities. They need to adjust their minds and action to survive within different groups of society. We cannot deny the ideas of adaptations and adjustment because a small group of people need to change themselves if they are living in the majority soon to gain the knowledge, rights, opportunities, and permission to live. Moreover, one word of the learning is imperative for our individuals from underprivileged lives. One quote from the pre-war states that there is no secret to success. It is the result of population's hard work learning from the failure. It means that people should strive on the knowledge because it could make your life an accomplishment. If you drop your object down, you should stand and look forward to doing it more as much as you can. For this, you can fulfill yourself in one day. As a result, people should enhance and explore more of their knowledge because it is the best way to master what you should do in the future. So this is the end of my part. Thank you so much, everyone.
So thank you, Brother Milong, for your meaningful elaboration about the first 2 points of the reflection of the story versus real-life situation. Greeting teacher and everybody, I am Sung, and here's come to my last point of the reflection, which is about the family's role and responsibility. As we know, family is pretty powerful and extremely important for providing us physiological and biological needs, as well as the safety needs. So in fact, each member in the family has their own roles to play. It is easier to explain by examples than by description, so let us take a look at the study text of our story. Each kid in the family plays the roles as a son and as a daughter. Harry imposed himself to leave his miserable family in order to earn money to help them out of their hardship. Even though Harry faced various things in Bombay, he was not afraid because he had a commitment to provide comfort care back to his family. So back to Leela, Bella, and Kamal. They never left their sick mother alone. They tried their best to look after her, even if Harry had left them and they had a drunkard father who did not care anything about the family. It reflects to our real life that kids have the responsibility to look after their parents, especially when they get older or become ill. To illustrate, parents gave us birth, provide us clothes, food, and shelters, just want us to live comfortably. Therefore, being their child, it is our duty to provide them back what they need when they are no longer able to work, such as a regular health check, a comfort zone, and most importantly, the close-knit relationship. On the other hand, a family situation will get tough if one particular member doesn't perform their role well. We all know that father and mother play the most important roles in the family. So an example in the story shown by the father and the mother is that when the father didn't perform a father role well and was always drunk during the hard time of the sick mother, not only did the family become poorer, but also did the kids suffer a lot from pain, distress, and tears, and even migration. However, when the father stopped drinking and the mother became healthy, the kids are happier to see that as well. It reflects to our real life situation that in our society, especially in our rural areas, our kids always migrate to foreign countries, especially to Thailand, to work and earn money to support their family because their parents don't even know how important family role is. They only think that they gave birth to their children to work for them when they grow up, and so that they can drink all day and all days without caring about anything. Moreover, it also reflects that not only wealth and prestige are important in the family, but also health condition, happiness, and harmony. It is clear that no one in the family is happy to face a result when someone turns out being a crook, or being a thief, or doing drugs, or when one member in the family becomes sick, or when violence occurs in the family. So remember that no matter if you're a son, a daughter, or a parent, all your actions affect not only yourself, but also the whole family, as well as the society. Therefore, you need to do well in order to have a good condition, dignity, and prosperity for yourself and your family in the future. So here's come to an end of our part and also the end of our presentation. So we, the last group, who are responsible for the last two chapters, which are chapter 12 and 13, would like to be thankful for your valuable time for paying attention to our presentation. So thank you and goodbye.